Hi, welcome to Sam's Dreams Themes tutorial on the sugar skin tones. I am Sam. Pardon my voice, I've got a cold today that I'm slowly getting over. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do a fairly simple edit to get a pretty but average picture like this one right here, looking very glowy and professional like this one right here. So I'm going to go to my actions, which are over here, and I've already got it opened up on the Sugar Glow Skin Tones. And you can see right here that I've got a skin smooth with texture, so it'll maintain the texture of the skin but still smooth out other parts for a very natural look. If you want a really less natural look, really glowy, you can do a reduced texture one. I've got the skin tones that will run, the eye palette, the dodge and burn, and this little girl doesn't have teeth, but I can show you that as well. So the first one I'm going to go with today is the smooth skin with texture. And I usually like smoothing out before I add my tones on top. So I'm just going to click the play button at the bottom here, and it'll take a second to run. And if I go over here, it says clone and heal here. So I'm going to click on the gray box, and I'm going to zoom in, and you can see that this little girl does have some blemishes on her skin, as toddlers tend to do. So I could do two things. I could use the spot healing tool, or I could use the clone stamp tool. Right now I'm going to go with the spot healing tool, and you have to be on that box right there. And I'm just going to go in and start removing those blemishes. I don't worry about getting every single one, but I do try to get most. Others will be taken care of when I do the skin smoothing later. There are some stray hairs here. And to be honest, I took care of some more of them before the tutorial because there were so many stray hairs. And I wanted to keep this tutorial on the quick side for you. Okay, that looks pretty good. The other option I have, I'll show you, is if you do want to do a little bit of cloning, is I'm still staying here. I'm going to go to my clone stamp tool, and I'm going to select an area, and I'm just going to move it over here a little bit, or right here, move it over that red blotch. So I'm going to go hover over this area where I want to move this skin here, and I'm going to press my Alt key to click, sorry. And now it's selected that, you can see. I'm on opacity 42. I'll probably bring it up to 75, and I'm just going to go over that spot. And it wasn't the most natural, so I'm going to do that again. Alt click. And maybe I'll try an area that's a bit brighter. It's strange that it didn't get more of that out, but I'm fine with that for the moment. That will do. So you could clone out some hairs too by taking one area without hair and then just going over top. So that is an alternate way if you're not finding a lot of comfort with the spot healing tool, then you can use that as well. And sometimes I get a little caught up in doing this, but I think it's worth it. And I'll go around as well, and if there's any spots on an outfit, especially with kids' food, on the fingers or the outfit, so I'll just give the whole picture a good look over. And I'm happy with that. So now we're going to move to, you go. Now we're going to move to doing the skin tone. So actually the softening, sorry. So this says don't touch that. Go right here to where it says soften here, and please click on the black box. And now I'm going to take a white brush at about 50%. Zoom in a little bit more there. And you can make the brush bigger or smaller by using the bracket keys on your computer. And I'm just going to start brushing this with my white brush. 51% opacity, I should say soft brush. And I'm just going to start going around her skin. And I'm brushing it on. I'm avoiding the eyes. I'm avoiding anything that should remain sharp. I'm just getting the major areas of skin. And I'll adjust the size of my brush accordingly. Because I don't want to lose the parts that should remain really sharp. And if you're not sure how much it's smoothing out for you, you can turn this off and on here. And you can see that it's subtle, but that it is taken care of. So off, on, off, on. If you're not happy with that and you want it to look super smooth, by all means, bring your brush opacity up. And you can go over, sometimes what I'll do is I'll do the major parts at about 50%, and then I'll move one more time, and I'll get just the biggest surfaces with a stronger brush. And then I'll always turn it back on and off again. And again, you can see I'm keeping the texture of that skin there. I'm not losing it. And you may or may not like that. You may want something more. But now, I'll do her hands too, even though they are a bit out of focus. So here we go, on and off. You may decide you want more, so I can show you how to do that. If I'm happy with this, I'm totally happy. I know I've got everything where I want it to be. I'm going to go to Layer, Flatten. I know some people worry about flattening. You can always go to File, Save As, and save your file first and do multiple files as you go along. But I think because I practiced long enough, I'm confident when I flatten. So now I'll show you as well the reduced texture. This is going to give you quite a bit of blur to the skin. So it's really easy. Paint and smoothness. You're just going to make sure it is clicked on there. It should automatically be on that black box. Soft white brush. I'm going to move that opacity back down even like 45, 46. A big rookie mistake, if you are new to skin smoothing, is over smoothing. You never want somebody to look like an alien. You just want them to look like themselves on their best day. And sometimes I'll go a little more with the smoothing with children, but with adults, I actually use a lot less of it. So now I'll zoom out a little bit. On and off. That's not making a lot of a difference right now because it was already smooth, but now it does start getting rid of pores and textures. So I am fine with that. She looks very glowy. I'm going to flatten. The next part is my favorite. These are the Sugar Glow skin tones. I found that when a lot of people were sending me edits, and when I was using other actions to show my students in my classes, people who had different skin tones were saying, like, where is the skin tone for me? And so I made a huge list of skin tones that you can use. Mink being the darkest. It's a gorgeous chocolate color. Honey beige for lighter brown skin colors. Cocoa, olive tones, nutmeg, sand. And then they get lighter as they get to the bottom, including a cool down one if things are too yellow, and a blush. So with her skin tone, I think I'm going to be pretty safe at Pinky Peach. And you can experiment and try. Sometimes when I do an edit, the colors come up, and other times they do not. So again, 50% is plenty. And I'm on a soft white brush. If the box is black, you want to use a white brush. That means you're adding it on. And I'm just going to start painting on the skin tones onto her face. And this is good because it lets you do a lot less color balancing. If there are major shadows, I'm not going to cover them up. I'm going to leave them. And that's a little bit strong for me before and after, but it did illuminate her face more evenly. I'm going to bring this down right here, this opacity, just a littlest bit. The next one I'm going to do is the warm glow. This is really essential to taking a picture that's kind of flat and making it look three-dimensional. This is a characteristic of professional portraiture. So I'm going to go in nice and close. And anywhere I see the light naturally hitting, I'm going to use the warm glow. So the tops of cheeks, the tops of the nose, usually anywhere that comes out from a face, you're going to want to illuminate. The very tops of the lips. And if the lips have a little bit of a shine to them, usually a little bit at the tops of the eyes, but not too much. You want this to look like she's naturally lit. And the key is always subtle. I love listening to music as I do this. This is just a calm way for me to unwind at night. I'm such a nerd. A little bit on the chin. And I'll just slowly add it in layers. I'll just do the very top of the hand here. Anywhere where it's already bright, I'm brightening. And I'll sometimes round things out a bit so that they look a little bit more natural. That's probably, so there's my warm glow. It's evened out this side a little bit. Okay, and the next part I'm going to do, I'm pretty happy with those tones. Sometimes if the tones are right, I'll go in with something like macchiato. And also on about 21%, I want to keep it low. And I'll start adding, if there are browns in the skin, I will start going in and adding them. Other times I'll do it with Dodge and Burn. But I can do some of the macchiato right now. And so now I'm darkening the shadows. These tones are also good for hair. Sometimes I'll add them to the hair. thing about the macchiato is if you do too much of it, it's going to gray out your person. So you do have to kind of be careful about that. You can see a big difference already between the original and, excuse me, that cold, and what we have now. So I'm happy with the way those tones are. I'm going to paint, or I'm going to flatten, layer, flatten. I can always save if you're not sure. I'm going to go to my eye palette and click the run at the bottom here. I'm going to open it up. The first one I like to start with is brighten. So white brush, probably, let's try 70 to 75%. And there we go, we're brightening them up. And then I can go to sharpen up right here. Usually I'll use that one at about 50% because it will sharpen and really make them vibrant. And it could be too much. If it's too much, you can just go to opacity right here and bring it down until you've got it. This is a bit of a more dramatic edit, so I'm going to leave them more dramatic like this. And I'm going to flatten. Oh, I forgot her blush. Sugar Glow Skin Tones. I'm going to go to the bottom here and blush. 52% might be too much. We'll see. You want little girls to look nice and natural, of course. And boys. Another thing you can do if you want is you can paint the littlest bit on the lips. I'm not a fan of it on the lips in this case. I'm going to use a black brush and take that off. And there's my blush for her. Now I can flatten. If she did have teeth that were showing, I could run this action. And there's two you can use. You can use probably the brush on 80%, and you can run it over the teeth to whiten them if there's any yellow, and then brighten them up. And then you can flatten that. And the final one I'm going to use is Dodge and Burn. Dodge and Burn is going to give us the drama, and it's going to bring it from, again, this like stunning face of her, and I'm going to do the whole rest of it with the Dodge and Burn. So it says paint white, 5% flow, 100% opacity. So a soft white brush, so I'll have to change this to white right here. It's on a soft brush. I want the opacity 100% and the flow 5%. And then the black, I could just switch it right here, make sure it's black. And that's going to be my burn. So I actually will start with the burn. The first thing I want to do for this is I want to start burning in the background a little bit and make it more dramatic so that she stands out from it. Your subject generally should be the lightest thing in your photo, and I want her skin to be the showstopper here. I want it to look like she's glowing out of the page. So I'm going over these a little bit. I'm leaving some of the flowers, and I'm just going over my background, and I'll give it a little bit of a vignette. Okay, I'm happy with that. Next, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to follow around the darkest parts of her outfit and her face. And it's going to give that lit, fine art look to a picture that was taken outside and not in a studio, and make it super 3D looking, really taking a beautiful photo and making it just ethereal, stunning. So every dark in the photo, I am making darker. Oh, that was too much. I don't want her to look like she has makeup on, but I do want to just naturally go over a little bit. Wanted to go out there. And I think that's good for the darks. There's one I don't actually like there. I'm going to use my eraser tool in this case. That one was just too much right there. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. Bring on the drama. And then the final thing is I'm going to add my whites. Or lights, I should say. So I'm still at the same, flow 12%. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to brush this on the very lightest of the highlights. If you're not sure how it's going, you can always turn this on and off. And you can see the dramatic difference it makes by doing that dodging and burning. And it helps to be on the actual thing that you want, which is your paintbrush and not your eraser. I was wondering why that wasn't working so well. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. So just the lightest parts get a little boost. And we'll make them look like they're spun of gold. It's a little strong. We're going to make this sweetheart look like a little doll. Brighten up under the eyes a little bit. And then if I wanted, I could just go and bring some of these leaves out a little bit more. And there we go. We have our full edit of this picture. I could go in and start removing some of the hair. I would probably be doing that and clone it out with time. But you've now gone from, let's go back in history here. We've now gone from this over to this, with some pretty easy steps and minimal amount of actions. I hope you enjoyed this this tutorial. I have many more sets of actions if you're interested in cloning. This skin set actually comes with 2 of my other sets of actions, the Joya collection and the Lumina collection. The Lumina collection is one of the best sellers on Etsy right now. So it comes with all of your skin tones here. It also comes with color correcting brushes. So if you found that there were areas, for example, where there was too much red, let me flatten here. Then you could run it and you could remove some of the red right there. Or there's some red in that hand there too. Somebody's calling me. They can wait. Okay. So there's some red reduction. You can also do things like adding a lot more blur in the background. I've got one-click workflows, so you can get a lot of different color combinations if you would like. For example, one of my favorites is peaches and green. And if I run that there and take a little bit of that off, you can see that you can start color toning your stuff and, again, making that one step more magical. And all of those, including a fall or autumn collection, is brand new in my shop. So thank you so much for your time, and please feel free to send me your results. Please leave a review about these so that other people can see what your experiences has been with them. And if you have any questions, you could always feel free to email me, Samantha@samsdreamthemes.com. Thank you.